Final trade that we're going to talk about tonight, unless you guys have another one that you guys want to hit on, is this interesting turn of events that has occurred over the last month or so. We are sitting here again, 2 episodes in a row, talking about the Wizards making a move that potentially gives them a little bit of hope of a future. I'm not really sure on how to word it, but if you haven't seen, Anthony Davis is on his way to Washington a year pretty much this week after getting traded from LA to Dallas for Luka, which, God, that is so funny thinking about how Dallas went from Luka to Anthony Davis to whatever this is, Chris Middleton.
NBA champion Chris Middleton, Brock.
True.
All right, let's get it right.
And former second overall pick Marvin Bagley.
Come on, they traded up. That's
Christie,
a big move. That's a big.
I would say the Lakers got fleeced. Honestly, hindsight 2020.
But Anthony Davis and company, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum are on their way to Washington, and the Mavericks are getting Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi. Is it Branham? Is that how you pronounce his last name? And Marvin Bagley Jr. And then, of course, there's no way that this would have even made sense if they didn't give up a first-round pick or two, and they gave up 2 first-round picks, one of them being from Oklahoma City, which is great. You're definitely going to get good value in that. And then the 2030 Wizards, which in the long run could be a good pick because really their core, the Wizards core, is not necessarily young. What were your guys' thoughts when this all went down? Because this kind of went quickly because it was like, oh, because the last month or so it was Anthony Davis was going to end up in Atlanta, which is funny when you think about where Anthony Davis is now going, and that is the Washington Wizards, who just traded for Trae Young not too long ago from Atlanta. Does this change your guys' outlook for, one, the Wizards, and then two, what the heck is Dallas doing?
I think we need to talk about the Dallas point of view before we compliment the Wizards. It's been 370 days since the monstrosity of that trade between Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison went down. And now the Mavs sit with no Nico Harrison, no Luka Doncic, but Chris Middleton, who's going to get bought out, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley, 2 picks, Max Christie, and
Cooper.
What?
Cooper.
Okay.
Cooper is a separate entity from everything that happened. He is not related to Luka whatsoever. We are not giving Nico credit for that.
No. The fact that the Dallas got Cooper Flag will kind of put the flex tape over the hole of hey, we're going to be screwed the next 5 years, because Cooper Flag looks awesome. I think we all agree with that. You just said 49 points a week ago. Dude can ball out. To go from, hey, we didn't want Luka, we're going to build our defense up. Hey, Luka's not a defender. Defense doesn't win. You can't be heliocentric with the ball 40% of the time and win the title. We're going to trust Kyrie. We're going to trust AD, because both those guys are real healthy, right? And we're going to win a title. And now we sit here on February 5th, 2026, and the Mavs have just self-imploded. And I guess, I mean, are any of the players they got in return going to actually do something for him? Probably not. Again, it sounds like Middleton's going to probably get bought out. AJ Johnson, Hunter, he's a former Buck. You probably know more about AJ Johnson than I do. Is he going to be an actual rotation guy? Malachi Branham, I think, is on his 3rd team since entering the league. And then Marvin Bagley has I think he's on probably his 8th team since he entered the league. It's really just those picks, and the 2026 Oklahoma City pick, spoiler alert, is going to be between pick 28 and 30. And then that Wizards pick, we'll see. We'll see how this iteration of the Wizards can go. But what a fall from grace the Mavericks went in the last year and a half, where they went from runnering up in the finals like, hey, we can win the title with this team, to self-imploding, and now they're basically in full rebuild mode at this point. So
I think the biggest thing I see from this is if you take away like 5 of the players listed here, the Bucks could have traded Chris Middleton and AJ Johnson for Luka Doncic, and instead they got Kyle Kuzma. So that's devastating. Second off, yeah, hey man, Washington, this is crazy. This is wild. I'm slightly concerned. There's a fun number out there, and 29 represents the number of games, or actually I think technically it's 30. I think it's technically 31 because of the play-in games. But Anthony Davis played 31 total games for the Mavericks franchise in his very long tenure there. And so while the idea of Trae Young and Anthony Davis alongside, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, like as exciting as that is, will it ever actually happen? We will see, because we won't see this year probably, which is the funniest part of this whole thing. But it is expected that Anthony Davis and Trae Young will probably get long-term deals for the Wizards, and so it's an interesting time over in the DMV. This time next year, we could be talking about the top 6 seed Washington Wizards if everything goes right. We'll see. We'll get there when we get there. But I do like this overall for the Wizards. Like everybody, Chris Middleton, before he got traded, it was basically like, yeah, he's not gonna be on really any team for much longer. Probably he'll get bought out and hopefully end up in a Bucks uniform. Who knows? I love the idea of AJ Johnson working with Kyrie Irving, because they are like, that was the one thing that was like the high upside for AJ. He's a very, very shifty guard. He's a little bit taller than you would expect. But he is a twig. Like he's a pretty skinny dude. But his ball handling, his ability to create space and get by guys, his finishing ability was kind of iffy when he was with the Bucks, but overall was really exciting. And so I'm interested to see if him being with Kyrie does absolutely anything. But like Dawson said, it could even just be nothing. And so overall, yeah, Mavericks, rough time. But at least you can say bye to AD. That's the fun thing about this whole thing. Biggest loser's Klay Thompson, because he has nothing left in Dallas anymore that he showed up with, or anything that there was like, hey, we're going to trade this one guy, but now you're going to play with AD, and now, oh, well, bye. Like, and that's it. That's all she wrote. So yeah, overall, love it for the Wizards. Mavericks, I guess I like it, but probably not for any reasons that lead to success. So it's more, yeah, like you guys said, just kind of ripping the Band-Aid off a little bit here. So that's at least nice.
if you were a fan of the Between the Hashes show, you know that how do I want to phrase this? My obsession with the Panthers and them being frisky, that was the whole running joke the entire season. You best believe next year the Wizards are this year's Panthers. They just are. And East is absolute crap next year. Like, it always will be crap until something drastic changes. I applaud the Wizards for trying. You know what? The East is so bad, maybe we can make a top 4 seed. So.
I don't know if you'll ever be one of Hunter and myself's friends who actually went out of his way and purchased a Russell Westbrook Washington Wizards jersey.
Amen.
Shout out, dude.
We do know that person.
Amen.